What's up guys, this is Miasin. We're going to be going over the most recent news. So the delay on Phantom Revenge, it's really nothing new, it's just the fact that it's delayed 2 weeks. So if you were planning on playing like Killer Tunes or something for the remote duel YCS, that's not going to be possible. But also we've got a new set in the form of Rarity Collection 5. It's pretty interesting. There is a couple of cute little reprints here, and also we're going to be going over YCS Guangzhou 2025. But anyways, before we go any further, as always, you know the drill, smash the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate you. Anyways, what is going to be in Rarity Collection 5? Well, obviously it's just a bunch of reprints, especially meta-relevant reprints. This comes straight from Konami. So we're getting Chaos Angel, Kishra Fenrir, number C104, Umbral Horror Masquerade. This is really big for all the K9 decks, well, especially Vanquish Soul, because you don't really have too much. It's really difficult to play a card like this. You need Nash Knight, CXC's Nash Knight, and then obviously the regular Masquerade and the Chaos Masquerade. So it's 4 cards just to summon one monster that you're not always going into. But obviously when you are summoning this card, usually you're winning. This card has a completely unfair effect. And also Memento Tekudlika Combined Creation, that's the 5k attack and defense monster. If I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure. It should be a meta-relevant set. I hope so. I don't really know if we're going to be getting like some charmies and like alternative arts for all those cards, because they already got reprinted in the legendary 5Ds, I think, decks or something like that. I forgot, but whatever. Each pack is 5 cards, and 4 of these 5 cards are from the main card pool. They didn't really give too much information on like everything, and they said each 5th card is one of dozens of new variant art cards. So I'm assuming that it's just really just going to be reprints of cards that might already be from the main pool, or maybe it's like going to be like a completely different pool. So these cards, you can't get them maybe on like the regular art and their alt art. It's really just one or the other, I think. I'm not sure. That's like what I understood, but I could be completely wrong. But yeah, the rarities are Super, Ultra, Secrets, and then Starlight, Platinum, and the unique Prismatic style Ultimate and Collect Rare that you can only find on the Rarity Collection sets. They actually do look good, right? It's not like they're old Platinum rares that just look like ass. So yeah, this set should be really good. Every time they do a Rarity Collection, it always goes pretty well, and the reprints are insane, so it changes pretty much everything about the secondary market. But yeah, obviously you can expect some, you know, reprints to be pretty garbage, because it's always the case. You know, you can't only have good cards in there, but we should have some nice reprints. I don't really know if I can think of like a lot of cards that really need to get a reprint. I mean, the Dominus cards for sure. If we can get a reprint of both of them, that would be really appreciated. Because I feel like some cards, even when they do get a reprint, it's still not enough. Like, the card doesn't really drop by that much, because it's still like a difficult card to find, even in that reprint set. Right now, so far, we've got Trishula, Crossout, IP, Compose, Zeus, Chabrigade Kit. Oh yeah, Punk Jam, Dragon Drive. Yeah, it's not really relevant, but yeah, it's really just like zoomed in versions of those cards with like some, you know, popular like words that people say in like messaging apps and stuff like that in English and Japanese. So yes, no, and then some Japanese text that I obviously can't comprehend. But this is like the chart of like the distribution of each card. So your Ultras, you got 1 in 6 chance for it to be upgraded to an Ultimate or Collector. You're always obviously getting a Super every single pack. That's a guarantee. And then, yeah, another Ultra Rare. It's the exact same thing as the first one. And then the Secret can be upgraded to a Platinum or Starlight. Yeah, you got, again, 1 in 4 chance. So, yeah, if you're lucky, you're getting the best reprints. And they didn't really drop all the, like, any more information. But yeah, I think there's, like, an OCG set that is pretty much the same concept, where we already know, like, which cards are getting, like, those kinds of reprints. I remember seeing, like, Skull Servant and some random BS. We're probably going to be getting something at least very similar to that in the TCG. Because even Rarity Collection in the TCG is like also, again, similar to like another set that exists in the OCG. Anyways, now I'm going to be going over YCS Guangzhou. So this is obviously in China. It's technically open to the public, but yeah, good luck getting there if you don't speak Chinese. And over 2k players. So yeah, it is a top 64 single elimination playoffs event. Obviously, it's not the TCG, so it's, you know, similar to like the old TCG system, where, you know, it's not just top 8 playoffs and stuff like that. So you're gonna have to play a lot of single elimination rounds, and for the rounds of Swiss, it's double elimination. So I don't know if that means like you're allowed to die twice, or you're allowed to die 3 times. Hold on a second. If it's top 64 at 2209 player 8 rounds of Swiss, yeah, I think you're not allowed to die twice. I forgot, or maybe some like 6-2s might make it. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. And yeah, best out of 1. So the YCS is over in like 2 seconds, right? They can technically finish this in like 1 day if they really wanted to, I think. But I'm pretty sure it's still like... Oh, hold on a second. Was held on November 22nd. Yeah, it's not November 22nd and 23rd. So yeah, it is a 1-day YCS. What the frick? Anyways, champion and finalist are invited to China Mainland WCQ 2026 Simplified Chinese. Yeah, bro, there's so many, like, formats now. It's like Simplified Chinese, like Asian English, freaking... I don't even know. It's hard for me to keep up. Anyways, it was won by Branded Dragontail. This deck is looking like the next tier 0 deck in the OCG, I think. I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, if Dragontail doesn't get hit in TCG, this deck is going to be completely overwhelming. I'm absolutely not looking forward to that. And yeah, Malice was the runner-up. And then Lunalight in 3rd, and Fiendsmith Radiant Typhoon in 4th. Some really interesting decks in here. Like, obviously, it makes sense that Lunalight is in, you know, the top 64 at the very least, because, yeah, this deck is scary in a best out of 1. If your deck doesn't main deck an Auto Liger Dancer, all it takes for you to lose is to lose the dice roll, draw 0 hand traps, or not be able to stop your opponent to death, and the game is over. There's no game 2 or game 3 where you can at least, like, you know, side in more hand traps, some specific cards. No, you don't get a second chance. So, yeah, Lunalight is a pretty scary meta call in those kinds of formats. And also, it has access to, like, a lot of cards that we do not have in the TCG. So, that's also pretty terrifying. DDD in here, you know, you can always capitalize off of your opponent misplaying. Fiendsmith K9 Vanquish Soul, another interesting deck. The Fiendsmith engine, and also people completely gave up on Vanquish Soul in the OCG. Even though it's actually better in the OCG than it is in the TCG, they were less severe on it, but also some K9 cards got nerfed, so the Vanquish Soul cards, you know, they were better, but the K9 cards are worse. And then more Branded Dragontails, of course. Mitsuru Gemi, Branded Dragontail again. That's the most represented deck out of the decks that we are shown. It's just that we're missing, I think, 6 slots in here. 5, 6, yeah, there we go. So we only have 10 decks, and 4 of them are Branded Dragontails, so that's a 40% representation rate. Pretty scary. And the deck is also looking just to... it's terrifying, honestly. I hope we never have to deal with this in the TCG. It just looks like a completely overwhelmed deck. Like, you know, it has so many more starters now. And also, if Branded Fusion gets unlimited, because Konami obviously does have to push the new Fallen Valbaz support in Burst Protocol, yo, this deck is going to be just even better than it already is. How many hand traps do we have? 10, 12, 13, 16 hand traps. It's not that much, but obviously you can always make it work. And yeah, like I said, the new Fallen of, I think, the White Dragon or something, and then Ecclesia, and then Cartesia. Yeah, so you get more disruptions because you can special summon the Fallen of Albaz on your opponent's turn off of the Incredible Ecclesia, and then fuse for either the dragon that devours darkness or whatever, or, you know, Albion or Lubellion into Mirror Jade, or Mirror Jade right away, or Rinbrum, whatever. You got infinite options. And it's crazy to think that, you know, there's only 4 Dragontail fusions, right? Like, the new Dragontail fusion, nobody's playing it, the level 6 monster, it's really not needed. And Grimel, you only really need 1 copy. Heretic Seal, but no Dragon with Eyes of Blue. The Blue Eyes Link 1 monster. No longer played. Interesting. There is no Mysterion, but there is Secretarion. And then Ecclesia of the Black Dragon. I forgot. Whatever. The Ecclesia level 8 Synchro. Their names are just so complicated. It's hard for me to keep up. Yeah, pretty good deck. And then Malice in 2nd place. Main decking Artifact Lancia super bold. Absolutely wild, but obviously, you know, it's a deck that can play freaking 20 hand traps. You might as well try. 9, and then 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20. Literally 20 hand traps, I called it. Half of the deck is hand traps. Absolutely insane. And yeah, obviously, it's still pretty consistent, even though Dormouse is at 1, but 1 Chessy Cat, I think that's suicidal. I wouldn't have done that. I would still try to play 2 to 3 copies, and then just not even play TB11. Might as well, you know, like, just only play MTP07, and then cut these 2 cards, play 2 more Chessy Cats, make your deck more consistent. Otherwise, you can't really capitalize off of playing infinite hand traps, you know? And also, you know, there's 3 backup Adignisters, but not that many hand traps that you can... I guess there's... Yeah, no, he's still playing Elmirage with, like, Fua, Droll, and stuff like that. It's just... Whatever, yeah. Preferably, I'm not trying to normal summon a hand trap to summon backup. If I can at least, like, normal summon a Chessy, activate its effect, I get ashed, I go okay. Special summon backup, full combo anyways. It does feel pretty good. Anyways, Lunite in 3rd place. Again, really good deck. And they have 2 Broad Bowl and a Drancia. That's ridiculous. What the frick? Both of these cards are 3. Again, like, what format is this? Is this OCG format? No, it's not. It's simplified Chinese format. That's why. That's why. It explains everything. It's very similar to OCG. Almost the exact same. But yeah, obviously, OCG doesn't have 3 Broad Bulls and 3 Drancias. There's no way. So Lunite has to be better in here. It has to be. And also, Broad Bull being able to search like any of your Lunite monsters because they can all be normal summoned. That's pretty good, you know. It's just a better Tiger King, because Tiger King, it's worse. It has to set the Tenki, and then you flip the Tenki, and then you search. But if you have to start with Tenki, then you can't go into Tiger King to do the same combo. But Broad Bull, it doesn't matter. Like, it's, you can start with Tenki or not, and it's just, you can always go into this. And also, instead of making a useless Tiger King that basically just doesn't do jack shit, you can make a Drancy after that. And then that's a disruption. And you can also make like some half board. No, you can't really make some half boards. This deck is garbage at making half boards. But it's still, you know, Drancia plus, I was gonna say IP, but like Silverhound, Baguska, it's fine, you know, it's good enough, kind of. And yeah, now playing a lot of fusion monsters, that's only 7, that's pretty bare minimum. 1 heavy poly with no, okay, 1 thrust, 1, okay, that's, you're still playing only 1 heavy poly in my eyes, but I would definitely try to play 3. Even though I respect it, you know, it's a best out of 1 format, I'm not gonna judge too much. There's always a world in which every single, you know, option can make sense. But yeah, for the ratios for the main deck, I like pretty much almost everything I see except the 1 Silverhound. I would play 2 copies of Silverhound myself, but you know, again, that's still fine. And I do think Emerald Bird is necessary. I don't understand people who say that the card sucks. That is not true. The card is pretty good. Definitely really good if you play the deck. Obviously you can play it as a deck that plays 15 non-engine, but I don't think you're gonna have as much success as the other decks that can play a lot of non-engine. Like, for Lunite to be really good, I think you do need to play a lot of gas. I think this is one of the only decks that can naturally crack boards with engine. A lot of other decks, they can't. Anyways, Fiendsmith Radiant Typhoon. This deck is looking really good. The new Link 2 is going to change a lot of things. There's also a new hand shop. It's the deity something. I forgot the name, but it's kind of like a giant Shrunade, the card that can bounce back every monsters or spells and traps on summon. If you control like a wind or something and your opponent does something, I forgot honestly, but it's basically custom support for very specifically Radiant Typhoon. And yeah, the way that people are playing this deck is also very interesting. I believe even without Moon of the Close Sky, you might still be able to make it work, like this version work very specifically in the TCG. I do have to check if there is a Light 3 Fiend Xyz monster. I'm pretty sure there is one. Yeah, Mellow Melody, the Brass Djinn. Yeah, that one is a Light Fiend generic rank 3. So yeah, you can just overlay 2 Radiant Typhoons into that, and then you can make Requiem, and then basically full combo. So yeah, Moon of the Close Sky isn't technically needed. And also, even Mellow Melody, the Brass Djinn, it doesn't have like a useless effect, right? It's not like Moon of the Close Sky, which literally just does nothing. So that card, once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from this card, and then target a Djinn Xyz monster you control, basically itself. It can make a second attack during each battle phase's turn. So yeah, it's not a good effect, but you know, it is an activatable effect that does something. So something to keep into consideration. And then also playing Zeus. Another, you know, reason to play Mellow Melody. You can go Zeus, Mellow Melody, attack, technically, and then Downward Magician in main phase 2, and then Zeus. And then you can just, like, use the effect twice. So, yeah, I do think this deck for sure has potential. Again, even in the TCG, people have been hyping this deck quite a lot with the new support. I haven't looked into it myself personally. Obviously, I know what the deck does, like, before the new support, but with the new Link 2, with the new monster, and I think there's another new card, I forgot which one. It's definitely looking like a good deck. In the OCG, they're seeing a lot of success. Oh, I think it's a spell card. I'm gonna have to check again. Yo, my bad if I really didn't come prepared. It is a Radiant Typhoon Elation, special summon a level 6 or lower Radiant Typhoon monster from a grave. Yeah, it's that card right here on the left MST. It's not the best card, but it doesn't suck either. Malice again, don't really care. Oh, main deck Forbidden Crown. Okay, see, that's the one spicy thing about this list. Because in a best out of 1, you're not going to be seeing Forbidden Crown too often. Since the card is especially good for going first, but for going second, it's not garbage, you know? Fiendsmith Canine Vanquish Soul, nothing interesting here. Only 1 Joku, that's really rough. But they do have 3 Staker Soul, even though Raisin is also at 1. Apart from that, everything is pretty much the same. It doesn't really matter if Izuna has a 2. It's like one of the least relevant limitation that you could ask for. And then, yeah, Branded Dragon Tail again. Kit 2 going to 1 really doesn't change anything. A lot of people in the TCG are saying maybe Arthelion should go to 1. Obviously, it doesn't hit their turn 1. But the turn 1 for Dragon Tail isn't really relevant. What is relevant is their grind game and stuff like that. I think, if anything, maybe 5 mana should go to 1. Maybe something else. Maybe 5 mana to 1. Maybe Rahu to 1. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to make a video on this eventually. Branded Dragontail again, pretty much every single deck list is the same this time. We do have the Blue Eyes Link one and the Hybridic Seal, whereas in this deck list, there's no Link monsters whatsoever, and nobody's playing SP. You don't really need it too much. The deck has a lot of built-in removal. Mitsurugi Yummy, okay, that's cool. This is like a very TCG-esque deck list as well. Now playing the shitters, unfortunately. Shoutouts to the shitters, they're pretty nice. But yeah, this is literally exactly what I can expect from like a TCG deck list, except for the Sky Striker package. This one is just like confusing here, and it's not even like we're also playing Engage. I don't like having to play an unsearchable random BS one of for... Okay, you know what? No, I'm lying. There's Camellia, so it makes sense. You can go for Camellia, dump the Hornet Drones, and then you make Kagari. So if anything, I would actually say this is ingenious. This is better than Zombie Vampire, and it makes total sense. So if you're going to Zombie Vampire and you whiff, you're screwed. Whereas with this package, you just link off any two monsters. You can have like a freaking Habakiri and a Fua, and then you make a Camellia. I don't know if that's legal, but whatever, you get the point. And then yeah, you dump this, Kagari, recycle back, Cupsy, Yummy Synchro, whatever, full combo from there. And they have freaking Baron as well. That's ridiculous. They can Synchro summon like into an Omni Negate using this and one like maybe like a negated Cupsy Yummy way that you revive back off of Lollipop. That's broken, that's cracked. Anyways, Brad the Dragontail again, and yeah, pretty sure that's the final deck list. Okay, cool stuff. You guys let me know how you feel about like all these deck lists from YCS Guangzhou, as well as obviously Rarity Collection 5, and don't really care about Phantom Revenge getting delayed, really. That doesn't change anything to my life. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys very soon. Peace.